In a small village nestled amidst snow-capped mountains in Norway lived a jolly, well-nourished Krampus. Unlike his skeletal, demonic brethren who preferred haunting children's nightmares, this Krampus had a taste for the finer things in life. He enjoyed long, luxurious naps, feasting on the flesh of naughty children, and, most surprisingly of all, collecting shiny, colorful pebbles. One day, while tending to his rock collection, Krampus stumbled upon a travel magazine featuring images of America, a country he'd only heard about in hushed whispers amongst the Yuletide spirits. America, the land of plenty, of excess, where Christmas was celebrated with the fervor of a religious holiday and the gluttony of a second helping. And best of all, a place where he, Krampus, was practically unknown. An idea sparked in his coal black eyes. He would go to America, Krampus decided, and experience the Christmas season in all its glory. He just needed one thing, a disguise. With a flick of his tail, he transformed himself into a portly, bespectacled man with a white beard and a red suit. No one would suspect a thing. As Krampus made his way to the airport, a small, bespectacled creature hopped out from his bag. "Wait, you're going to America?" asked the creature, his voice high-pitched and panicked. "But what about the krampusnacht? What about punishing the naughty children?" Krampus waved his hand dismissively. "Bah! Humbug! I need a break. Besides, there's no one in America who even knows what a Krampus is. They only have that fat man in a red suit. I'm going to have some real fun there." The little creature sighed, knowing he couldn't dissuade his master. So he scurried back into his bag, muttering about Krampusnacht and naughty children under his breath. And so Krampus, disguised as Santa Claus, boarded the plane to America, where a whole new world of Christmas awaited him. Upon arrival, Krampus checked into a modest two-bedroom apartment in the suburbs. It wasn't the luxury suite he'd envisioned, but considering the alternative was a life sentence in the dilapidated Krampus Motel, he wasn't about to complain. The first order of business was, of course, food. Krampus, in his human form, was limited to consuming the bland, dry dog food his minions had thoughtfully provided. No more fresh meat for him until he got back to Norway, but a trip to the supermarket soon remedied that. And it wasn't long before his fridge was stocked with steaks, pork chops, and, of course, plenty of milk. With his belly full of steak, Krampus settled into his new surroundings, watching TV and collecting pretty pebbles from the park across the street. One evening, as he was watching the local news, he learned about a charity event being held at the local community center, an event hosted by none other than Santa Claus himself. An evil grin spread across Krampus's face, a chance to meet his counterpart, to engage in some good old-fashioned holiday spirit, or maybe, just maybe, a chance to cause a little chaos. Either way, Krampus knew he couldn't pass up the opportunity. He arrived at the community center dressed as a grumpy old elf, his face painted green, his ears pointed. As he entered the room, he saw him, Santa Claus, sitting on a throne-like chair, his cheeks rosy, his eyes twinkling. Krampus approached him, extending a hand. "Greetings, Santa. I've heard tales of your legendary generosity. I am here to help." Santa Claus eyed him suspiciously, then burst into laughter. "Well, I could use an extra pair of hands. Say, why don't you take a look at those presents over there? We've got bikes and dolls and video games galore. Just make sure the kids get them. That's my only request." And with that, he returned to his merry conversation with the mayor. Krampus, left alone with a mountain of presents, couldn't help but smile. This was going to be a very interesting Christmas indeed. As the night wore on, Krampus loaded up the sacks onto his sleigh and set off into the snowy night. He delivered the presents one by one, watching with amusement as each child's face lit up with joy. When the sun began to rise, Krampus returned home, his heart strangely warmed by the experience. Perhaps America wasn't so bad after all. As he pulled off his elf costume, he caught a glimpse of himself in the mirror, his face still painted green, his eyes glowing an eerie red. Krampus stared back, a slow smile spreading across his face. Maybe being Santa wasn't so bad, but being the Krampus was much, much better. That Christmas, the good people of Norway were spared from Krampus's wrath. And as for his vacation home in America, well, let us just say Santa got a very unpleasant surprise when he tried to use the fireplace that year. From this story, we learn that it's good to take vacations, but it's better to leave the heavy lifting to the professionals.